Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, now in easy-to-swallow caplets. Here's what's coming up. Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, who won the week? I'd say me. I got a really sweet haircut, and I could bench press 400. Both parties a mess. Does a third-party candidate have a fighting chance? I'll ask Gary Johnson. He might know somebody. And while other colleges baby their students with safe spaces, one college is showing them how to become an adult. Maybe I can still enroll. Let's get started, America. I'm due at the uneven bars in 3 hours. Enough of your pathetic applause. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's so bright you can use him as a reading light. Ben Domenech, co-founder of The Federalist. I read that daily. She prefers to sneer at your daily cheer. National Review reporter Katherine Timpf. Boo. He's smart, handsome, and well-traveled. But enough about me. Here's the ungodly Rick Grenell, former advisor to 4 U.S. ambassadors to the UN, Fox News contributor, and he's going to hell, according to some countries. And like a gallon of rage, she kills every time. Writer and comedian and activist. Because I don't know why I said that, Bonnie McFarlane. Delightful. Activist. All right. This past week was a ping pong of wrong. One day it's Hillary screwing up, the next it's Trump. It's like watching two foreign guys play Frisbee. Oh, people from other countries. Or two cats playing patty cake. Or a lion trying to eat a baby.
De humedad. Mi Pauli, vete. No, mi Pauli, no.
We couldn't show you the rest. First item, Hillary speaks near Orlando, Florida, where the Pulse terror attack took place. But guess who's behind her? Who's that goofball in the red hat? Oh, wow. It ain't Super Mario. Although the resemblance is uncanny. No, it's Terror Dad. A stone's throw from Hillary. And when you're pro-Taliban like he is, a stone's throw, it can be tempting. Because they throw stones at women. Which is wrong. I don't advocate doing that, so don't do that. So why was this creep there and so close to Hillary? I don't think he writes for Pantsuit Monthly. No, he was there to reflect the diversity of support, meaning he fit a profile. So the campaign put him right behind her. Once again, in the name of symbolic tolerance, we scrap security. Anyone can slip through, even a pro-Taliban crackpot. Now, Trump, he could have won the week on that alone had he just shut up. But instead, he says things.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know.
I know, he didn't mean what he said. But that's not the point. It's that you have to keep explaining what he says. It's exhausting after a while. I like Donald, but he's like that pet who keeps breaking stuff. I am not going to keep cleaning up after him every single time. But there are times, I admit, he's hilarious.
Another one. Go home to mom. Go home to mom. And your mother is voting for Trump. She's voting for Trump. True.
It's true. He's got their mothers. But then he calls Obama the founder of ISIS, when he could have said something else, like Obama's foreign policy helped birth and spread ISIS. Same thing, but not as bad. But he didn't. Still, let's remember that as absurd as his claim is, his critics say that he's a threat to the universe. So maybe he's just playing their game. He's stealing the left-wing knack for exaggeration, and it's entertaining as hell. But is it working? The polls say no. And it's a bummer because there once was a message to be made. Not just America first, but we are Americans first. And our security maintains our success, promotes unity, and saves lives. But that big vision has been lost. In 2016, there's never a need to shoot the messenger. The messenger shoots himself. Thank you. Bonnie, thank you. Thank you for your applause.
Yeah, I always applaud.
You do.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
What a fantastic, diverse audience you have. Yeah. They clearly...
You're going for the easy win.
They clearly have all come from, retired from different jobs, but the same socioeconomic background. I love it. You're speaking to such a huge group of people.
You know, I just love it when a guest comes on and insults the audience right off the bat.
I enjoy a challenge.
Well, you know what? You got a challenge tonight because now we're coming after you.
That's why we're
Yeah. You know, you invite somebody to a cocktail party, and the first thing they do is they insult all your other guests.
I said I like them.
You know, maybe we have.
I love white.
We have a white sofa. Maybe you can defecate on that, young lady, because you're defecating on my show.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to your husband later. All right, I even had a question for you, and now I don't remember.
Oh God, is it about Trump?
Yes. Thoughts on Trump? Try to
Was
appreciate.
he joking? I think you're asking me because I'm an expert on joking.
Yes.
I know when to do it and how to do it. Yeah.
Except here.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, Trump is he's a racist, and he's sexist, and he's a tyrant, which is why this it comes as such a shock that he would incite violence on someone. I can hardly believe it myself.
Well, Rick, respond to her opinions, which are obviously ill-founded.
There's so many I don't even know where to begin.
Yes.
Look, I think the fact is that Donald Trump speaks like a non-politician, like we always want. Mm-hmm. And I do think that there's an argument to be made right now that the political establishment in Washington, including the political journalists, including all the people who evaluate politics, are absolutely panicking about somebody who's not playing their game. And because of that, I think that there's a lot of value, and tolerant liberals should not look at the situation and immediately say, oh, racist, homophobe, whatever.
I never said homophobe.
Yeah, but
I think he's down with the gays.
He is down with the gays.
He's the best GOP nominee that the gays have ever had. That's just the facts.
Mm-hmm. And I don't believe he's racist. He just says things that sound racist. And aren't we all like that? I mean, we always say things that sound racist.
But I want to make one thing clear. I'm
proud to be white.
I'm not
like that.
But why? What's wrong with
No, I'm not defending everything that Donald Trump has ever said. That's not my point.
No.
I think there's a lot of value, though, in breaking Washington, because Washington is not working.
But see, okay, I don't want Washington to work at all. Yeah. So if Trump, I don't want Trump to make it great again. I want it to be incompetent. I want nothing to happen.
Well, first off, gridlock is a wonderful thing.
Right.
Jesse Helms had a line way back in the day where he said that every day these buildings are closed, the republic grows stronger, and I think that is true. Mm-hmm. But this week, I'm not someone to typically come on and defend Donald Trump, but I saw the most asinine media coverage of him this week, especially on this Founders of ISIS line. He actually explained, he goes on the radio with Hugh Hewitt, and he actually explained exactly what he was doing. Hewitt says to him, why don't you just say, essentially the line that you were saying? Yeah. Well, he said, well, but if I say that, nobody reports about it. Yes. Nobody says it. They get to ignore it, okay? Yes. And the other thing is this. He was saying this back in January. 3 times in January, he said Hillary Clinton is the inventor, the creator, the founder of ISIS, okay? Back in January, the media was looking at Trump as this sideshow, and they were like, oh, you know, we're fine with him going around and smacking up on all these conservatives who we don't like either. We're just going to, you know, play along with this. And now he says it, you know, he's the GOP nominee now, and they all just lose their minds. They just go crazy.
Yeah, but also one other point, in December, Hillary Clinton literally said that Donald Trump was the recruiter.
The lead recruiter.
Which has no basis in reality.
I think with Trump, it's just that it's constant. It's like he never says like a normal thing, or says it in a normal way, which is why people like him. But you know who I feel super bad for in particular is Mike Pence. He's constantly having to defend Donald Trump. It's like if you bring a date to a party and he gets super drunk, and you have to be like, oh no, like he's just tired. Like I know this happened last time, but he's working on it, I promise. And it's like kind of your fault, and it gets exhausting after a while, and you're like, maybe he's an alcoholic. That must kind of be how he feels.
No, I think
you really spoke from some depth of personal experience there.
But I think you just didn't describe Mike Pence. You described a lot of cable commentators who are constantly trying to figure out new and inventive ways to say, well, what he really meant was. And it's like, I have said this before, I would just like a candidate that speaks for me, not the other way around. I don't want to, I do enough work. I can't do this pro bono.
But then you're the candidate. If you're looking for somebody that you totally agree with, congratulations, Greg Gutfeld for president.
Oh, well, thank you. Wait, Bonnie, you wouldn't vote for me? Why?
I'm not going to vote.
Right.
I wouldn't. I'm a pedophile. But
Do you not vote?
No, I'm Canadian, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Code for pedophile.
Wait, are people booing because you said you were Canadian?
No, they were saying, oh, like how great it is to have a Canadian here.
Yes, that's why I'm sitting way over here, because I'm a pedophile.
What is with that? Anyway, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so when it comes to your perspective as a Canadian on American politics, you know, why do you think that Donald Trump is a tyrant? And you used this word before, and I feel like it gets thrown around a lot about this guy.
I was just trying to get enough words in there to make a third word. No, I mean, he does seem like a guy who will become president and then change all the laws to suit himself.
Like President Obama?
Right. Hey, stop it.
Yeah. And you know why I said that? Why I said that? Because I'm a racist, right? Because I'm a racist. No, I'll tell you something. I actually disagree with, I understand your impression, but I disagree with you. I do believe he sounds like an autocrat, that he wants to be king, and that's why he likes Putin. That's why he said nice things about Hugo Chavez. He has a thing for strong men. Well, who doesn't? But anyway, but then, once he gets into power, he's going to get so bored, and he's not going to do it anymore.
This is the hypocrisy of the media, though, Greg, because...
Is that directed at me?
Yes.
Okay.
Because President Obama cut a deal with the Iranians.
Right.
And the Cubans. And somehow the New York Times celebrates that as, oh, he's moving on, and he's moving forward, and he's a deal maker.
Right.
Donald Trump literally says, you know, why can't we get along with the Russians, which I am a very anti-Russian foreign policy guy. But my point
is
the
that, applause there?
No, my point is that why doesn't Donald Trump get the same buy-in from the New York Times?
It's because the way he says stuff,
yeah, but
which some people love. Some people love it. It's you know, exciting. It's not so boring. But he's running against the most boring person of all time. So I feel like maybe he could tone it down just a little bit.
Just a little bit. If he shuts his mouth for 3 days and allows Hillary to lose the cycle, it actually, I'm talking about the news cycle. By the way, go ahead.
The shutting up thing, you know, the reaction to the reaction that we saw to this guy standing behind Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen a presidential candidate stand that close to somebody related to terror since Barack Obama started his campaign at the house of a guy who tried to bomb the Pentagon. Okay.
Yeah!
She did!
Let me first say that I think Hillary might be a little bit busy hiding emails to check out all the, you know, how many, all the mass shooting relatives that might be in her audience.
Hey, you know what? All right, so we have to move on, but we are going to talk about Hillary in the next block, and we're going to say lots of nice things about her. All right, roll. There you go. Coming up, more email trouble for Hillary. See, I said I would do that. I say she should follow Bill's example and stick to the oral legend. Hillary Clinton could be enjoying some pretty encouraging numbers, like Nate Silver's 538 chart, showing the Electoral College figures falling in her favor. But if I look at it another way, it also reminds me that I'm overdue for a colonoscopy. Thank you, Nate. Yeah. You know what the problem is for Hillary? It's only August, light years away from Election Day, especially when you consider that State Department emails keep coming back like a bad case of herpes. Is there ever a good case? Call me. The latest batch show a Clinton Foundation official reaching out to Clinton aide Huma Abedin, asking for favors from the Clinton-run State Department. And another Clinton aide, Cheryl Mills, holding job interviews for the Clinton Foundation while working at State. Was this inappropriate? Was it pay for play? I don't know. I'm drunk. But it's a race against time for the Clinton campaign. So what comes first? Some smoking gun email or Election Day? They're hoping Election Day, when I'll be getting my colonoscopy. All right, I don't know why I'm going to you, Bonnie, but I am. Let's say...
I have all the answers.
You do. They're wrong. So let's say Trump... Oh, stop. This is turning into Geraldo 1994.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I
the
know.
90s are in.
I don't want to get hit by a chair.
This audience hates comedy.
Oh. Hey, apparently.
This is the thing. I do hope that when Hillary is president, we still continue to find out.
Let her finish.
All about her emails, because this is one of the most compelling political stories since Andrew Jackson married a divorcee named Rachel. I mean, this is...
She wasn't divorced. That's why it was a story.
Yes, because she actually... She thought she was...
Yeah, that's big.
No, she thought she was divorced. Then she thought she wasn't. And then it turns out she was divorced. She made a mistake.
But what about Ross? What did Ross say? Ross
That's a 1990s reference, everybody.
Kat, yeah. You have strong feelings about Hillary. Where do you see this thing going? I feel like it's a race against time with the emails and the election.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the Cheryl Mills stuff. I mean, maybe she just did it for fun. Maybe she's getting nothing in return. I'm sure they never even, like, talked about it. Maybe she didn't even know it was Hillary's foundation. She was like, wait, that Clinton? That's inappropriate. Like, come on. She clearly, it's not just a one-time thing. It's a consistent pattern of behavior. Oh, this could be shady, this could be shady, this could be shady. Maybe at least some of it's shady, right? Come on. It's called logic. It's the best.
Smoking gun.
What?
You said there was no smoking gun.
Not waiting for a smoking gun.
Oh my gosh, we've seen a zillion smoking guns.
No, I agree.
I'll tell you one that disturbs me the most.
What?
Is Hillary literally telling Jake Sullivan, who's on her staff, cut off the top and send it on the unsecured fax?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is an instruction to take classified information and just cut off the marking and send it in the form that she can receive it, which is like a normal fax machine. That's outrageous. I don't know why that doesn't immediately make her someone who instructed someone to take classified information and throw it out in public.
I don't, you know what was crazy to me was that when Huma Abedin left the schedule on a bed in an open hotel room and she wasn't there, and she says, oh yeah, I just left it there.
Because she knows she can get away with it, and they continue to get away with it. They know this looks bad. Hillary's not an idiot. She knows that people would find out about this. She knows how the media works. She just knows she can get away with it. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She has so much power.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to say, your audience, there was a place for you to boo right there. She said Hillary's not an idiot. You guys did nothing.
Ben, you are such a devil. You're a devilish little creature.
Thanks.
Ben?
The thing about this that bothers me the most is there was this huge push, over the course of the past several months that, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, we're going to listen to whatever the FBI tells us to do. when it comes to whether we should indict Hillary over this stuff, if there's enough evidence to do so. They made this whole thing about this is going to be the FBI's decision. It's not going to be us. But on this, on a request from the FBI to investigate and look into the Clinton Global Foundation and to look at their relationship exactly along these lines, the DOJ just shut it down. They just said, we don't think there's enough evidence to even look at that. Yeah. So in both cases, it's like, how can you trust any of these entities, the institutions that our elites run in Washington, to be fair in any capacity where all that matters is what your last name is?
Well, you know what? It's good not to trust. I don't trust anyone.
Me neither.
I'm very. I don't even go outside.
Yeah, really.
I don't do anything but sit at a desk. When everybody leaves, I'm still here all the way until next Saturday. It's kind of sad and scary. I have a bag. All right, koala bears, adorable animals or spawns of Satan? Probably both. But first, Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson is coming up next. And no, he's not phoning it in. That's how it works here, people. So the first presidential debate is September 26th, the same day I plan to get my back waxed, which should be just as entertaining. The only thing that would make it better, a third contestant, which could happen. In my perfect world, that third candidate would be a robot or a giant lizard or a robot giant lizard. But instead, I'll have to make do with Gary Johnson. The debate commission is reportedly drawing up plans for a 3-person debate. Kinky. As Johnson rises in the polls. The former New Mexico governor is up around 8%, but needs to get to 15% to be eligible. So doing the math seems boring. Joining us now, Libertarian presidential nominee, Governor Gary Johnson. Governor, always a pleasure. Yeah. So honestly, you're a very honest person. What are your chances of getting up there behind a podium?
Better than 50%.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So that's that's about half.
Good math, Greg. I'm glad to see that you still got it all together.
I do, yes. It's amazing what pharmaceuticals, legal ones, can do, Governor. I want to ask, everybody always, asks you, what's the first thing you would do as president? I want to ask you, what's the third thing?
Boy, this is just as irrelevant as it always has been. I've missed this. I've really missed this. Man, this is really great. Thanks, man.
What do you want to do if you were president?
What do I want to do?
Yes.
Well, I want to reduce the size of government. I believe that less money out of my pocket is a good thing, and then stand up for civil liberties. So included in those civil liberties, of course, legalizing marijuana, marriage equality, women's right to choose, and then let's stop with the military interventions, with regime change that has resulted in a less safe world. How's that for starters? Let's bring the world together with free markets.
You know what? I like you because you're for free markets and free minds, and I think you're like a sleeper candidate. You're a 2-term governor, but you're also kind of goofy, right?
Sleeper candidate. Sleeper candidate. What's goofy? What's goofy, man?
No, because you. You are the next president. The next president. No, but the thing is, the reason why I bring that up is on the 5. We're constantly talking about Trump and Hillary and how flawed they are. And Geraldo says, well, Gary Johnson, he's kind of weird. I'm going like, what's wrong with weird? When you're looking at the other candidates, you were a successful 2-term governor. You cut spending. You left a budget surplus. You won Republican in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat. What's weird about that?
Well, weird is having Bill Weld as my running mate, you know, a two-term Republican governor in the state of Massachusetts, 4-1 Democrat.
Yeah.
We didn't raise taxes a penny. Man, this is really getting weird.
Yes.
Standing up for civil liberties. Do you remember Bill Weld was denied the nomination to be ambassador to Mexico by Jesse Helms because in 1997, Jesse Helms said, this is a guy who's pro-choice, who's pro-gay rights, and who's pro-medical marijuana? Yeah, boy, this is one weird ticket.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. It's a balance because you're small government, he's big government. Now, a lot of people have an issue about marijuana and the fact that you are involved in the marijuana industry. I'm pro-legalization of just about everything, except children. I think children should be banned. But I want to ask you, my issue with pot is that I feel that it should be seen as a reward, like a martini, like you should work first and then smoke. My problem is that too many young people they get a bong and they end up on the couch and their ambition is gone. I don't think you can legislate that. But does that ever occur to you that that could be a consequence?
Oh my gosh, Greg. Man, well, the scenario you're pointing out is not criminal. That somebody wants to take the edge off the day by smoking pot or indulging in marijuana product just like others do drinks. I mean, come on, as long as you're not doing any harm to anybody else. As the libertarian nominee for president, as your next president, I'm going to always come down on the side of choice. Look, people ought to be able to make choices in their lives as long as those choices don't adversely affect others.
I agree with you completely. Very sensible. I think that everybody has the right to their own oblivion. Correct?
I think so. But back to oblivion, as long as you're not doing any harm to anybody else.
Well, then what's the fun in that? I want right to oblivion while harming others. Anyway, Governor, thanks for putting up with me.
Oh, thank you. I can't believe you haven't had me on, but I've missed you. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. Well, maybe later. All right. Thank you, Governor. Up next, why is one college offering students helping to become adults? I don't know. I'm not allowed on college campuses since the incident.
If you'll be in the New York area and would like to be part of our studio audience, email Greg Tix at foxnews.com.
They're turning snowflakes into snowmen and women. Had to put that in there. All right. East Carolina University, it's in the East Carolina somewhere, is starting a counseling program to help kids learn adulting. The school came up with the idea after seeing a sharp increase in counseling appointments over the past 2 years. The idea is to teach students how to deal with inevitable setbacks in life and how to respond to them, i.e. how to stop being a big baby and act like an adult. As one official noted, students often struggle at managing failure, adding, quote, "Are you beating yourself up because you got to see if you change the self-talk, you can change the behavior?" You should listen to that, Bonnie. They also blame social media because kids see the picture-perfect versions of friends' lives and they feel their own doesn't add up. It's why I refuse to look at myself in the mirror. And also why I won't look at pictures of Lou Dobbs' huge deck. Takes up half his backyard. They say everyone loves a big deck, but not me. Nope, 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 nope. Ben, is this coddling or is this toughening up?
Well, it's just sad that the university, a point at which you would hope that a lot of these kids had learned something out of life before they got to that point, they'd be able to deal with failure. They'd be able to manage that. The problem is that we have basically a portion of a generation, a significant portion of it, that basically has PTSD just from life. Like just existence itself is giving them stress disorders to the degree that they can't handle getting C's, they can't handle getting anything less than an A. There's actually a great book by Megan McArdle from a few years ago that was all about managing failure, and she quoted all these crazy comments from kids like saying to her, "Well, I'm not taking your class because I don't think that I'll get an A."
Yeah.
And that in itself is something that you have to learn how to fail in order to succeed.
That's a smart thing, though. I did that all through my time. I looked at this is too hard. I'm dropping out by the 3rd week. Kat, you write about such things and on a daily basis for National Review.
I sure do. Thank you for that.
And you do a mediocre job. But I'm just trying to hurt you. I'm trying to hurt you, so you toughen up.
The thing is I had parents who thankfully told me when I was bad at stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's made me emotionally normal-ish. Yeah. Because they can't handle failure because they haven't had it. They haven't had anyone tell them they can't do anything. They're sitting on the couch watching the Olympics, and their parents are like, if you just try, you could be in the Olympics someday too. And like, oh, you know, if he doesn't want you, then it's his loss. It's like, no, some of you won't have Olympic bodies, and sometimes you're the nightmare, and the other person is much better off without you, and that's just true sometimes.
Well, Rick, we know that she had honest parents. I happen to like this idea because I could have used this. I need to learn. Like when you get out into the real world, there's stuff like, how do you rent a car?
I'm sure that's part of this emotional training.
No, but it's like you got to learn to do things to be an adult, like pay your electric bill.
Yeah, look, I agree with whatever everything has been said so far. I think everybody needs a tiger mom. Mm-hmm. That's what we need in life. And this whole generation of everybody gets a trophy, everybody participates, nobody strikes out. I went to my godson's baseball game last summer, and I literally watched as
the parents said, "Get out of here! What are you doing? What is this single man doing here? He's nicely dressed."
Okay, for the record, I'm not single. Second of all, it was a baseball game for young people. But one kid in particular went up. He got 3 strikes, and I was like, okay. We're moving on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you sit there, and we kept going and going and going until he got a hit.
Oh, so there's no limit to the...
There's no limit.
Go his whole
and
life thinking he should be able to play baseball.
Exactly.
Pick another hobby, bro. You're not good at it.
Right. And I literally was sitting there thinking, am I the only person in this entire crowd that thinks that this is fine? All the parents kept cheering, and everybody was fine with it, and I was like, society is going downhill.
Yes. You need 3 strikes. That's why they did that in California. I always wondered if they had, the 3 strikes are outlaw, if they had based it on bowling and there were 10 frames, you could have 10 crimes. It's like, if this up to number 9, I gotta worry about it. They based an entire crime issue on a sporting thing. Oh my goodness, Bonnie.
Well, as you know, Greg, I'm sure you know that I am pro-bullying, and I think we need to get back to that, some good schoolyard bullying.
Yeah.
Because it really, I was bullied as a kid all through middle school. I matured so quick. I had a full beard in 8th grade, and I still have it, but I bleach it, so you can't see it. But it made me, now I love the sound of children crying, but I also face challenges head on.
That's good.
Yes,
that's good.
Which I think is what more people need. That we need more bullying.
Wow. All right, up next, my delivery from Hickory Farms. I love a good cheese log, but first, could it be illegal to drink coffee while driving? Well, if I'm asking that question, it probably means the answer is yes or no. Find out. Could you go to the big house because of Maxwell House? Could Starbucks put you in the slammer? Probably not, but it was a good lead. A New Jersey lawmaker, they have them there, has proposed a law effectively banning eating, grooming, and drinking coffee behind the wheel. The bill outlaws, quote, any activity unrelated to the actual operation of a motor vehicle in a manner that interferes with the safe operation of the vehicle. Penalty would be up to $400 for the first offense, $600 for a second, and for a third offense, you're sentenced to life in New Jersey. Saw that one coming. Actually, it's $800 plus a 90-day license suspension. The guy behind the bill says the issue is distracted driving and that it won't explicitly ban drinking coffee. Still, there's much cooler stuff you can do while driving, like me and my friends did last weekend. Well, that was interesting, Rick. Good idea, bad idea, idea.
Look, I think that this is going way too far.
Right.
Because if you're in the car and you're singing to a karaoke song, if you have a child in your car, if you have a passenger in your car and you're talking to them, you could be distracted.
Right.
Why are politicians worried about what's going on inside of a car?
Yeah,
Let it alone.
What's next? Like, I'm not going to be able to pee in a cup or do macrame wall hangings while I'm driving anymore. Silly.
Or texting. I can't text and drive.
Well, by the way, texting and driving anything that takes your eye off the road should be banned, I believe.
That was a joke.
I can text without looking at my phone, for sure.
I know that because you have problems. You can text without even a phone.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
Although, can you text, like, if you come to a stop sign or stop light, and can you then text?
I don't think so.
Or is that not allowed?
Because it's not about safety. It's about gaining revenue from people. It's not that they actually think that you don't know when is an appropriate and not appropriate time to, like, eat a ham sandwich. If you're at a light, you can take a sip of the coffee. They know that's okay, but they're like, what can we possibly think of that we could say is dangerous to get more money?
Anthony Weiner's totally against this because he wants to sext while drive. That's such a stupid joke. Anyway, Ben.
Well, but it's, this is taking away one of those aspects of, where guys would try to one-up each other by doing multiple things at once in the car. Hey, watch this. I can eat this hot dog, drink this soda, drive with my knees, and shift with my elbow.
Right.
Which is something that I may have done on occasion.
Yeah.
But it is in this case, I think, going way too far to just say drinking coffee on your commute is banned. Yeah. I think that's a violation of the Geneva Conventions. I mean, that's just terrible.
What if you have like a really long straw? Like your cup holder is like a long straw.
Yeah. No, but kids are a total distraction, more so than a coffee cup.
Yes.
Or someone in your passenger seat that's like chatting away or telling you to turn or, where do you stop?
GPS, man.
Yes, that lady who speaks to you about turning right. It could
All of this is irrelevant with driverless cars. Once the driverless car takes over, it'll actually be good and bad. You know, when seatbelts came into popularity, people sped more and there were more deaths. Yes. I have no facts to back that up. But I'm assuming that's the case. Because once you have seatbelts and an airbag, you end up driving faster. And I think with driverless cars, you're going to have like car parties. People are going to be in cars. They're going to be sex caravans and sleeping drivers and people are going to be harassing their driverless cars. They're going to be taunting them. It's going to be a very ugly kind of road warrior scene in the way I look at it. And by the way, the cars will make the moral decisions for you. I've said that. So if let's say you're winding down Highway 1 in California and a deer gets in front, the car will have to make the decision, hit the deer or drive off and kill your entire family.
Wow.
I've talked about this many times, sometimes alone in my room. I don't know.
What does the car decide to do?
The car should kill the animal unless the family is annoying.
Yes.
Yes.
Take everything into consideration.
Yes, you should.
Like if they're doing karaoke.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Or that stupid state game. The license plate game. If you're doing that, the car says, that's it. I'm taking you out. So, but again, with artificial intelligence, the car will be able to make decisions. So the car is sitting there and he sees a deer and he's suddenly Googling the family. He's like going, are these people actually worth saving?
The problem is that there are no deer near Highway 1.
I know.
Just so you know
I should have said seals.
Ocean.
I should have said seals.
Exactly. Then it would have been more believable
story.
There's
everywhere. No crofts. Don't go anywhere. Final thoughts next. We're almost out of time, so.
What you've wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
Bonnie?
I just want to say that this audience has been fantastic.
Very good.
I would like to get safely into my taxi. Thank you.
Yes, you don't have to worry about them. Worry about me.
Thank you for having me, because I'm never coming back.
You are back. You'll be back. You'll be back. Rick?
I want to say something to the establishment. Where should I look? What camera?
Look at yourself.
You have a choice to make in the fall. It's Hillary Clinton and 5,000 liberal political appointees, or Donald Trump and 5,000 Republican appointees. Make your choice.
Ben?
So I just want to say to all the people who've been playing up this Second Amendment thing that Trump said, I really don't get it, because we already know that Hillary Clinton is like a gold medalist at dodging sniper fire. Why is this even interesting?
Good point. Kat?
My little sister's hedgehog has moved into my old childhood room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your class? Yeah, it's great. So the hedgehog's got a room. It's great. So the hedgehog's got a room. I do not.
Wow. Excellent. I didn't know people could have hedgehogs as pets.
They sure can.
Wow.
They can take over real quick.
Oh, well, that's delightful. Thanks to Ben Domenech, Katherine, Rick Grenell, Bonnie McFarlane, Governor Gary Johnson, and our studio audience. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I love you.